Hey everybody, I am so happy to be back with you. I don't know if you heard, but today is National Submarine Day. Go figure, I guess. There's a holiday for almost anything that you can imagine. Now, have you ever been on a submarine? I have. Well, it was kind of a museum, and it was a real submarine. Actually, I believe it was down in Baltimore. And I remember going down and walking through the submarine and looking at how difficult it would be if there was ever an emergency there. You can't run through the place without banging your head on something because it's very tight quarter. So if you don't like feeling all squished in and not having room all around you, I don't know if a submarine's the place for you to be. Although I wonder what it takes to be someone who can live in a submarine and not worry about breathing the air outside and being above the water to see all around you and be able to walk and run and go wherever you want. Interesting. So you know what? Pardon my salute, but I do salute all of those who are in our Navy and are in the submarines protecting our land and our seas. And wow, that's quite a special job that you have there. So thank you very much. So let's get to see this book called The Super Submarine. And it was written by Tony Mitton and Ant Parker. And it's going to tell us a little bit more about how submarines work. A little bit, okay? Just a little bit. And I have another book over here, Submarines and Submersibles, that I will read as well. If you want to skip this book and go to the next, or just sit down and listen to both of the stories, I know I'd appreciate it because I definitely know I would appreciate you liking and subscribing and even sharing this with your friends or your family or someone who loves submarines. Bonus! Love it. So let's get started and see if maybe I can interest you in taking a trip on a submarine. Super Submarines. A submarine is a type of boat that dives beneath the sea. Below the waves is such a strange and wondrous place to be. Ooh, I bet because you can see amazing things that we definitely do not get to see all the time up here. That makes sense. To dive, it takes in water until its tanks are full. The weight of water gives the submarine a downward pull. Who thinks of these things? Genius. When it's underwater, the propeller makes it go. The hydroplanes can tilt to steer it up or down like so. The rudder also steers the sub and turns it left or right. Computers help navigate down deep. There's not much light. Nope. I can guarantee, even though this picture looks nice and bright and you can see all these amazing details of what lives under the sea, it's not that easy to see. See? The periscope can poke above the waves to peer around. There it is. Now, out in the ocean where the waves are kind of always moving around and birds are flying and fish are, you probably wouldn't be able to see this because if you look at the color, it's kind of gray and it kind of blends in with most of the ocean. But farther down, the submarine depends on sonar sound. Oh, those are those pinging sounds. That didn't sound like it at all. That was weird. Sorry. In here, I knew what it sounded like. What came out? Maybe not so much. The sonar sends a signal out, a special type of beep that bounces back to help them guess what's out there in the deep. That's true. That's exactly what happens. Just don't imagine the sound I made. That was awkward. A submarine must have a crew to run it night and day. The crew needs living quarters where they eat and rest and play. Now, it looks like it could be like a sleepover and be kind of fun if you don't normally live on bunk beds. But I don't think this is telling like the whole story, because it makes it look like you have a lot of room here, but it's not as much as you really think on a submarine. Unless the modern ones are different. I don't know. If somebody wants to let me know in the comments, I'd love to hear about it. Submersibles are different subs that probe the deepest ocean. Down not far, it's still and dark. There's hardly any motion. But even there, submersibles discover deep sea creatures that glow or carry lanterns and have very funny features. Yeah, I don't know if I'd really like to come face to face with any of these cool looking dudes right there. I don't know. They make them look really cute and fun and kind of squishy, like that they would go squeaker, squeaker, but I don't think they do. Submersibles are used to rescue divers or explore. They sometimes salvage sunken wrecks upon the ocean floor. They're used to service oil rigs, lay cables, and fix pipes. Their robot subs have cameras and arms of many types. Now, that's pretty cool, you have to admit. And can you imagine where our future is going to be with all these different things, with all the robots that we've built that can do things and go places that we can't, with cameras that show us things that we would never have imagined seeing. The future is just unveiling itself, and you are part of that future. What will you discover? What will you create? Wow, I can't wait to see what you do. But look, our sub is rising. Its work below is done. Very soon, the busy crew will see the sky and sun. Yeah, sometimes they're down there for a few days, sometimes just for a few hours, sometimes for weeks, and sometimes for months. Can you imagine that? Living in this little thing for months? The ballast tanks have emptied. They've pushed the water out. The submarine is back in dock. Hooray! The sailors shout. Happy to be back above the water. I wonder how it must feel when they try to walk. Because even though they were walking, water gives you a different feel. That's why they say you have to get your sea legs. Or what's the saying? I think that's right. Oh, look, here are parts of the submarine. So it says submarine parts. There's the hydroplane. This tilts to steer the sub up or down. Propeller. This pushes the sub through the water. Rudder. This turns the steer to steer the sub from side to side. Submersible. This is a different type of submarine that carries and controls the robot sub. Robot sub. This mini sub can reach into small and narrow spaces. Periscope. This is used to see what is above the surface of the water. Very cool. Now, stay right there. I have another book for you, and this is called The Submarines and Submersibles. And it is a super reader, and I love that because so many of you have gone above and beyond in your reading. So, bravo. Brava. Oh, wow. Look at that one. Submersibles. Down, down, down. The submersible dives under the sea. Deeper, deeper, deeper. A submersible is a craft used for short trips deep underwater. This submersible has 3 people on board. Do you see the difference between the realistic pictures that are here and how dark it is versus the other book where they were more cartoon drawn? And they made it very light in the picture so that you can see things. But look, it's very hard to see down there. The pilot steers the submersible. The computer screen shows him where to go. The crew members look out of the window. They want to find out about the seafloor. Here's that big window area. Here's the computer screen. You see the people? The submersible reaches the seafloor. The crew watches the sea animals. One crew member sees an octopus. They take a video of it. Wow, can you imagine that? Look at them coming about. You can almost see, oh yeah, look over there through the glass. Wow, wow. That is a pretty intense experience that they got. They find an underwater cave. Look at all the sharks, said the pilot. This must be where they rest. The submersible moves away along the seafloor. Keep on going. No reason really to disturb sleeping sharks. A strange shape appears in front of them. What's that? Asked a crew member. It looks like the wreck of an old war submarine, says the pilot. We'd better get going, says a crew member. The water's getting rough. Oh no, what would happen? I guess it can feel it when they go down under the water, even if it's moving. The pilot steers the submersible to the surface. A crane lifts it out of the water. The crew decides to send an underwater robot to look at the wreck. Wow, in it goes. That's what we were talking about in that other book. The robot can go down deep and get into smaller spaces, and maybe it can even go a little deeper than what we could with our own physical body. Our body can't take too much pressure, and that water, it's a lot of pressure on us. ROVs, remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs, are used when the water is dangerous. They are used to explore the seafloor and wrecks. ROVs can also be used to lay cables and fix pipes deep underwater. Wow. Oh, goodness. We definitely need that. And because we can't go down that far. The ROV is lowered into the water. It has a cable line linking it to the ship. There's the cable line. The crew members control the ROV from the ship and steer it around the wreck. The ROV sends back pictures of the submarine. Wow, very important job. How interesting. You know, even when I started looking around for jobs, I knew of certain things, but there are so many jobs out there that are so interesting that I never knew about. Submarines. Modern submarines can carry more than 120 people. They are often used for long trips underwater. Many submarines are painted black, so it's hard to see them in the dark water. Yeah, and look at it. What does it look like to you? Almost kind of, sort of, like a whale. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. If you couldn't see the whole thing, you might think, because I think this is a drawing, but I would love to see a picture of a real one under there. Oh, well, here we go. Look, see that? How it's painted black? This submarine is docked in a harbor. The crew gets the submarine ready to leave. Then they climb inside. Close the hatches, orders the captain. The hatches are like the little, almost like a door. but not as long and tall as a door. It's usually round. Let me see. Oh, or it could be square. But it's just big enough for you to get down in there, usually. And then they have to make sure that when it's sealed, it doesn't let any water in, right? The submarine moves away from the dock. Out at sea, the submarine dives below the waves. It will be at sea for 3 whole months. Okay, I added the word whole because I wanted you to realize 3 months is a long time. That's at least 90 days. 90 days, guys. With no real blue sky to see. After 3 months underwater, the crew is ready to go up to the surface. Surface, the captain orders. The submarine's sail appears first. The submarine makes a big wave as it rises. Swish! The crew can see the coast. They are almost home. I can't imagine what that must have felt like coming up out of the water. Oh, that must be a good feeling. Well, in this book, they also give you a glossary that goes over some terms, which we did before in our other book. This one is about the hatch, an opening used to get into a submarine. Octopus, an aquatic animal that has 8 arms, each with 2 rows of suckers. ROV, short for the remotely operated vehicle, or an ROV. An ROV is a robotic submersible that people can control from the deck of a ship. I wonder if it's almost like a drone in a sense, because you're still controlling it, right? Sail, the raised part near the front of the submarine. Shark, a fast swimming fish that has sharp pointed teeth and at least 1 fin on its back. Submarine, the underwater craft that can travel more than with 120 people inside. Submersible, an underwater craft that is used for deep sea studies. Interesting read. And I'm so thankful for people who are able to do that and enjoy it. It takes all different kinds of people to make this world go around. And there's all different kinds of jobs, and not everyone can do them. So I love that there is diversity and that we all can work together to make this world a better place. Yeah. So I'm counting on you because I know that you can do the same. And boy, you are going to make this world a better place. I believe it. Well, so I hope that you enjoyed hearing about submarines on this National Submarine Day. Who knew? Bye, guys. I'll see you again real soon. Don't forget to come back and go on more adventures with me. Bye.